Plants vs. Zombies is a cultural icon. I know it and so do you, but just in case you don't, let me give you a bit of history. PopCap was a game company that was best known for releasing casual games for Windows in the early 2000s. Their breakout hit was Bejeweled, which ended up popularizing the match 3 genre that every licensed mobile game uses today. Following in its success, they proceeded to release banger after banger with no signs of stopping. Chuzzle, Insaniquarium, Dynamite, Feeding Frenzy, Zuma, Bookworm? There's actually way more than this. They released dozens of games between like 2001 and 2005, and I often joke with my friends about how you can just pick any random one and have an awesome time. They genuinely could not fail. One thing I remember being very instrumental to their success was the accessibility of their games. Every game they made had a Java or Adobe Flash version that you could play in your browser, and those games would advertise the full, downloadable deluxe versions. Those versions cost $20 each, but also, you could play each one for an hour before it would lock off, which let you get a taste of the deluxe version and its improved features. I have a lot of respect for this style of advertisement, where you let the quality of the game speak for itself instead of manipulating the player into buying it. After a while, they slowed down on this rapid-fire approach and focused more on porting their library to other platforms. Games like Bejeweled and Bookworm got sequels. And then, bam! Pegle. Pegle was a massive success for PopCap, spurred mostly by, and I did not know this, its inclusion in Valve's Orange Box as Pegle Extreme, a 10-stage demo featuring levels based on Half-Life 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2. This is free to download on Steam, by the way, so please check it out if that description sounded awesome to you too. Pegle got ports to everything. Phones, handhelds, consoles, as long as it wasn't the Nintendo Wii, it was on there. Then finally, after riding high on the success of Pegle and its sequel, Pegle Knights, PopCap finally released the topic of this YouTube video.
Excellent.
Plants vs. Zombies is a tower defense game, meaning your goal is to manage your resources wisely and strategize to keep the opposing force from getting all the way through your defenses. In this game, your defenses are plants, and the opposing force is zombies. Each stage features set types of zombies you have to defend from, such as Buckethead Zombie, Pole Vault Zombie, Pogo Stick Zombie, and many, many more. You have to defeat these zombies before they reach your house and eat your brains. And with what else but plants. Each plant has a specific purpose and cost, like creating a defensive wall, being your artillery, producing more sunlight, the currency with which you purchase plants, and so on. When you've cleared each scenario in a world, you'll move on to the next, which mixes up the gameplay loop by making you prioritize completely different plants. It's really addicting and fun, and it's no wonder it got as popular as it did. Now, while I don't know if, the art helped out with that, I think it's fair to say the music might have. The composer, Laura Shigihara, did not miss with the soundtrack. Every stage has an appropriate theme, with some of my favorites being Graze the Roof, Ultimate Battle, and my absolute favorite, Watery Graves. I'm not like a smart music person or anything, I just know in my gut that these songs go hard. Please go listen to this soundtrack on YouTube. Laura uploaded all the music to her own channel, so this is a rare case where you're actually benefiting her by doing so. Back to the gameplay. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the copious amounts of bonus content this game has, including a minigame where you control the zombies, a minigame where you play Bejeweled, a minigame where you play Insaniquarium, a minigame where you hit zombies with your nuts. Please hold your applause until the end of the video. A cooperative mode for 2 players, a competitive mode for 2 players, a custom zombie creator, virtual pets, and several more. This game is absolutely packed to the brim with bonus content, which was clearly a result of a team that loved what they made and had fun making it. You might be thinking, hey, this game sounds pretty good, but did they make any sequels? And unfortunately, they did. You see, in 2011, 2 years after the release of Plants vs. Zombies, PopCap took the biggest L a game company could ever take. They were acquired by EA. Now for those of you that aren't familiar, EA had a cool and awesome habit where they would acquire companies with a bright future and then ruin everything. They did it to Maxis, they did it to Criterion, they did it to Rareware, oh wait, somebody else ruined that one, and they definitely did it to PopCap. After the acquisition, PopCap became the Plants vs. Zombies, Pegle, and Bejeweled company. Every game they release is in one of those 3 franchises, and to give you a taste of what that's like, let me describe Plants vs. Zombies 2 to you real quick. Plants vs. Zombies 2 is just like Plants vs. Zombies 1, except that you can temporarily upgrade your plants with boosts that sometimes spawn in the world, but you can also spend 1,000 coins to purchase one if you really need it. You can also spend like 800 coins on one of these attack powers that lets you attack zombies whenever you need it. You can spend $3 to get 5,000 coins. You can play another mobile game that's advertised to you for like 60 coins. Or you can complete horrifying data harvesting surveys to allegedly get like 26,000 coins. I'm not gonna lie, I came into this game expecting it to be microtransaction city. I didn't think they would actually include nightmarish, predatory data scraping scams. I was gonna talk about the game more and explain why it's bad, but I kinda don't want to anymore. I'm sure EA made the buck they wanted to make on this game, as they continued to make PvZ titles following this. There was Plants vs. Zombies 3, which was apparently so bad that it doesn't exist anymore, and Garden Warfare, a game series with the PvZ branding that is a first-person shooter. I've heard these are fun in their own right, but I don't plan on installing Origin to find out. The most recent thing that happened with these games is yet another spin-off of Garden Warfare called Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville, and actually came out this year. Okay, so is this game, A, a Battle Royale game? You got it right, wow! I wouldn't recommend so much as glancing at an EA game from 2023, so probably just keep playing Fortnite or Pac-Man or whatever the kids are playing now. In a stream from a few years ago, Laura brought up a cute story about the sound that the sticks of butter make in the original game. She said that to get the sound just right, she did multiple takes of her just chucking a stick of butter at the head of the creator of the game, George Fan. This game was an absolute passion project, and as such is one of a kind. When EA approached them to make a sequel, George Fan disagreed with the direction the franchise was going, and was laid off during development, with Laura following. However, they've both pursued independent ventures since. Let's start with George Fan. As I mentioned briefly earlier, he also created Insane Aquarium way back in 2001, which is extremely similar to Plants vs. Zombies, and I can't recommend it enough. In 2018, he created Octogeddon, which is a game where you upgrade the arms of an octopus as it destroys things. I've played it, it's cute, it's fun, please give it a look. He actually had a new game come out just last month called Hard Hat Wombat, which looks like a fun little puzzle platformer. Laura has created a few games as well, and while RPGs aren't my cup of tea, the art in the most recent one, Mr. Saito, looks gorgeous. Please give both of them the time of day. Plants vs. Zombies as we know it today may not be the best, but the original game will always exist. PopCap is just a company that went defunct in 2011, but not before releasing what could be considered their magnum opus. If you've never played it before, I hope I've convinced you to give it a shot, as well as their older library. I promise you, they're all worth your time.
1, 2, 3. There's a zombie.